What's going on, babe?
Hey, babe, how was your day?
It was actually pretty productive. Happy to be home.
Good. You know, we got a game today. Honey, you're a little rough around the edges.
I'm saying, I've been working all night, taking care of business, getting to the... You know what? I don't even want to talk about it. I got you. I'm not trying to be out here looking like a dusty, and that's why I'm excited to have T. Hanley as a sponsor of today's video. They help me start and maintain my skincare routine by making the entire process uncomplicated. Honestly, it's the best skincare system for guys like you and me. I recommend you start with their level 1 system, which come with all of the basics. A daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin, a 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. My favorite part about Teach Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teach Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price and the ability to customize your box. And because Teach Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal. Just click the first link in the description. You'll get 30% off your first box plus a free gift. Click the link and get started today. We taking care of ourselves. Self-care, fellas, is the first step to be able to get to that bag, to take care of business, and be on top of things and level up in every aspect of your life. Feel the Teach, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Interesting week. Very, very interesting week to say the least. It is Thursday, August 25th, 2022, year of our Lord. What's happening, friends? You know I got to tap into the chat before we really get to cooking today. So let me give a shout out to Cool Gamer, Empress Carmen, my dog Kojak is in the building, Larry Walker, Young Investor, Low Black Duck, Stephen Day, Kingdom Minded. What's up, Kingdom Minded? Let me get to y'all cash apps first too, because I do like to acknowledge the people, you know, and the things that they said. Shout out to Sarah. What's up, Persevere Data TV? Sabrina's in the building. Jeff. What up, Jeff? What's happening? Twerk responsibly. Heck of a title. All right. C Jones is in the building. What up, the Brandy? Look out below. Good morning, bag chasers. Kenny. What's happening, Kenny? Lester Phillip. A1 Fella is in the building. Millennial Mark TV. Yo, we getting started the day early. So shout out to all of my bag chasers. Pharma Diaz, what's happening? My friend, I appreciate you. All of the people that continue to rock with me on the Millionaire Morning Show. We had a great show yesterday with Q&A on my other platform where we had a different conversation that we have on the Millionaire Morning Show. So I want to encourage you guys to subscribe and like this channel. Subscribe and like Anton Daniels Fight Club, Lapeef Network, all of these different platforms in which I have a participation in order to ensure that we continue the conversation. We're going to continue the conversation. All right. So shout out to Teach Hanley. Yes, Tesla split again. Shout out to Teach Hanley. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Make sure you click the link in the description. You've seen my phenomenal acting. Maybe I'll shoot a movie one day. Who knows? But shout out to Teach Hanley. Awesome sponsor. Thank you for always holding me down and ensure that we successful over here at the Millionaire Morning Show. In addition to Teach Hanley, let me give a shout out to all of my bag chasers. You guys are awesome. You are phenomenal. I have a Patreon exclusive video dropping tomorrow morning. Maybe I'll put it out tonight. Put it out a little early. But I got a Patreon exclusive video dropping tomorrow morning. And then after that, I'm gonna give you the real. I have content that is dropping with me and Charleston White all next week. As a matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? In the Patreon specifically, I am going to drop the entire interviews. So we shooting a lot of content, but I'm going to drop the entire things in its entirety. I'm not going to clip it up. I'm not going to chop it up. I'm just going to give y'all the whole shebang inside of the Patreon first. And so we are continuing to level up when it comes to the type of content that we want to drop exclusively for the people that rock with us. And I don't know when the general public going to get whenever they going to get. So that's it. That is what it is. I got some more content. Well, I got some more stuff from some very, very dope people that's coming that we shooting in person. And so y'all going to love that. So shout out to the Bag Chasers. Always want to continue to add value to you. You know, we have the meetup coming next month. We got the meetup coming next month. That's going to be awesome. And so much content dropping inside of the Patreon for all of the Bag Chasers and the people that's trying to level up and make sure that they get to, a completely different space in their life that's going to ensure that they don't have to beg Biden for student loan forgiveness. Oh, we going to get there today. So shout out to all my people. I am up before I get into the show. I am up all the time. I just went and got these, so I haven't even opened these up yet, to be honest with you. I am up all the time. I am up at 4:30 a.m. sometimes, up till 4:30 a.m. sometimes. These is dope. Shout out to Yeezy. I like these. What do y'all think about these? What do y'all think about these? I think that these are super dope. I like these. You got to have you a clean black shoe. No more Forces. We only doing Yeezys. Yeezy hospital shoes. 700s. I'm up a lot. Sometimes I only get an hour of sleep. Sometimes I get 2 hours of sleep. I think if I had to average it all out, I probably only get 3 hours of sleep a day. What are these? I just picked all of this stuff up from my mailbox. Oh, I like these. Are these? These is beautiful. These the 13s. I like these. These is fire. So, got the leather, the gray leather right here. I like these. These is dope. I'm up pretty late on a regular basis, and I'm only getting like 3 hours of sleep on average. I think that that's pretty egregious, to be honest with you. So I got to figure something out. I don't know if I need to let something go, if I'm doing too much. But I am dropping a video today basically talking about this specifically. And so I'm curious as to what you guys think. So I'd like to get your thoughts. Oh, these is nice. I like these. I like these a lot. What do y'all think about those? These is nice. I am a collector, so I pretty much get everything. I like that at the bottom too. Whatever comes out, I just get. I usually get 2 pair. But I need to get rid of all of these sneakers. So y'all know that I'm probably getting rid of all of the sneakers or anything like that. But yeah, man, I need to figure out how to get some sleep. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I got to let something go. I got so many different things and different businesses or whatever. And this is a conversation that I planned on having with my bag chasers actually. But, just some fleeting thoughts that goes through my head in order to try to figure it out live. Because I guess in my mind, I'm always thinking like go, 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 go. Right. And then I plan on working probably for the rest of my life just because I love what I do. But then I get so caught up in so many different things that I don't know what I should let go and what I should continue to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes a toll on you. And I was having conversations with people that were close to me yesterday, and they like, Anton, you can't do everything. You are going to run yourself into extremely bad health if you continue to do so. Because I think that you have to work hard, but I think that you have to have a balance. One of the things that I try to push people to do on a regular basis is to push themselves harder and harder and harder, because most people are just sleeping their life away. You know what I'm saying? They sleep for 10 hours, they get up, they play video games, and then they may work for 4 hours, and then that's the end of their day. And so it's much harder to push people forward and get people out of that slump than it is to pull people back. I'd rather be the type of person that you got to pull back. But I don't, you know what I'm saying, want to go into a space where I overwork myself into death. And so I got to figure that out. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how it is that we can figure that out. I don't know what to do. I am. My light go out. Give me a second. All right, we good. I don't know what to do. I'm at a crossroads, honestly. I need to get at least 7 hours of sleep a day. 6 minimum, 7 is the objective. I'm 40. I'm getting older, and I got to figure something out. I don't know if I can do all of the different things that I'm doing to the capacity that I'm doing them. Now, one thing that I'm not giving up is I'm not giving up corporate, because that bag is crazy. And then you get the healthcare coverage, and then you get all of the equity in the company and all that. Fuck. Y'all seen my W-2 inside of the Patreon. Yeah, I can't give that up. And I can't give up content creation because y'all my babies. And this is what I love. This is my connection to you and my ability to be able to, kick it with you on a regular basis. And so those two are out the window. And then I had sold a company before I went into full-time content creation. And then I created another company similar to the one that I sold. And then one of the reasons why I retired in 2019, then I went back to corporate America. So it's like I'm addicted to working, but then I'm trying to build more businesses. And then I got the content creation being built out. And then we got the restaurants. It's one of the reasons I became a silent investor in the restaurant, so that I wouldn't have to have the day-to-day. Then I'm thinking about building a coffee shop. And it's like something got to give. Something got to give. But I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to put it together. I just don't sleep, man. I do not sleep. So that's neither here nor there. We're going to have that conversation later. Again, maybe I'll have it with my bag chasers, because I'm no good to nobody if I'm not fully healthy. I want to focus, at least 2 hours a day dedicated to fitness. So let's shelf that conversation. So let's get into the thick of things. Buying votes. This is a conversation that we're having based off of the live stream that I did yesterday. So let me tell you the cadence of the show. I am going to break down exactly what Biden said inside of his press conference. We're going to give more details as to exactly what's going on with the student loans, what you can expect, whether you're married, whether you're single, private loans versus the federal government loans. We're going to get into all of that. We're going to get into Elizabeth Warren. We're going to deep dive into it. But more importantly, I want you to join into the conversation. So throughout the show, I am going to drop the link. And if you have a comment, question, concern, challenge me, whatever it is that you want to think, if you just got a general question that you want to ask me, I am going to give you the opportunity to cam up. Make sure you have good lighting, right? Make sure you don't have a bonnet on your head. Take the do-rags off. Please don't show up in a wife beater, because I am going to put you on camera. I'm giving you the game early. I'm letting you know that I am going to put you on camera, and I'm requiring 4 people to jump on camera in order to have this conversation, right? Let's start this off, because you already kind of have a sentiment or a general idea of what I think about this whole student loan thing, right? I think that it's buying votes, 100%. But let's start this off with a video that had dropped some time ago, but it expresses the sentiment of a lot of Americans. And when I've went through my email and I went through my DMs and I was looking at the different things that people were saying to me, and I was going through the comments and stuff, there was people that were divided all the way across the board, right? But let me play a quick video of the sentiment of what I believe that a lot of people are feeling right now. And then we gonna deep dive into this conversation. Again, I'm going to drop the link in the chat for you guys to please get yourself together now. But I'm going to drop the link in the chat for us to be able to have this conversation, all right?
I just want to ask one question. My daughter's getting out of school. I've saved all my money. She doesn't have any student loans. Am I going to get my money back? So you're going to pay for people who didn't save any money, and those of us who did the right thing get screwed.
No, it's not even like that.
Of course we did. My buddy had fun, bought a car, went on vacations. I saved my money. He made more than I did. But I worked a double shift, worked extra. My daughter works, she was 10. So you're laughing. Yeah, that's exactly what you're doing. We did the right thing, and we get screwed.
I appreciate
That's
it.
all right.
I believe this is the sentiment of most people. They did the right thing and then they got screwed. The people that are doing the right things are the ones that's getting screwed. But what we continue to do is give people a fish instead of teaching them how to fish, and we allow for people to run in the Victim Olympics. So let me share my screen with you guys. I want to share my screen with you guys because I think that this is so hilarious considering. So a couple different things that I want to go over, okay? Couple different things that I want to go over. And you see him with the thumbs up. All right, B, I see you, big dog. Killing them. Biden's approval rating ticks up to the highest since June. Approval rating shot up double digits overnight. Say it ain't so, Freaky Jason. Did we not already talk about this yesterday? Don't worry about it. I'm just presenting you the evidence that goes along with what it is that we're talking about. Cool. Biden's approval rating is at its highest point since June. Overnight. Two-day poll completed Tuesday showed Biden's approval rating shot up to 41%, the first time it has topped 40% since the beginning of the summer. Of the 1,000 adults surveyed, 78% of Democrats voiced support for Biden. You don't say. A figure that stood at 69% in early July. Republican approval held steady at 12%. The Reuters poll, which has a credibility interval of 4 percentage points, shows the slow climb in Biden's polling numbers from last week, which he polled at 40%. The stat marked Biden's highest approval rating in 2 months. The president's polling numbers first dropped below 50% approval in August 2021 amid the chaotic U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan, and it had since steadily declined since reaching its lowest, which was 36% in May. Biden faced lingering criticism over inflation, the cost of gas. You see how y'all forgot about that already? Nobody talking about gas. Nobody talking about inflation. Nobody talking about jobs. Nobody talking about rent. All of a sudden, we've been bamboozled into this conversation based off of the idea that they dangled a little meat in front of your face and now you think that the policies make sense. All of a sudden, all of the same policies that they had prior to this whole forgiveness thing start to make sense. Okay. Let's pivot. Okay. So we got that. And then on top of that, this is the sentiment of most people as far as what it is that I'm seeing displayed across the internet. Now, Reuters is a very, very credible place and a credible source, okay? U.S. student loans, forgiveness has borrowers hoping for vacations and fucking medical school. Boy, oh boy, if I am not the one that told you exactly that the Victim Olympics would continue, let's continue. Let's talk about it. Americans bearing heavy debt, college debt, welcome U.S. President Biden's announcement on Wednesday that he would forgive $10,000 in student loans, and some shared hopes that they can jet set, basically get rid of working extra hours, and perhaps take a fucking vacation. Say it ain't so. They don't have to work no more. Time to take an extra vacation and go back to school and get some more student fucking debt. Let me make sure that my daughter is up. These likes is low. Can y'all please get the likes up? Because we about to cook today. We about to have a conversation today. Please get my likes up. Give y'all an opportunity to get yourselves together. Please get my likes up. It's gonna be a long one today, I feel. I believe it's gonna be a long one today. Soon as they get it forgiven, you know what they want to do? Get more debt. Is this not the exact thing that I predicted yesterday? Is this not exactly what I predicted, that you're giving them a fish, you're not teaching them how to be responsible. You're not teaching them how to fish, you're giving them a fish. It's a handout, and they're buying an election at the cost of $300 billion. Now it's time to take a vacation. No, this is supposed to be the time that you hit the gas. No, we don't want to have that conversation. Oh, let's continue. Let's grind. I would not have had a second thoughts when planning a trip or going on vacation, said Paul 49, a restaurant manager in Washington, D.C., who said he took out loans for his son's tuition. Earlier, it would be at the back of our mind, but now we got this. Now we have this debt hanging over us. Now we somewhat relieved. He was interviewed shortly after the Biden administration announced it would extend a COVID-19 pandemic-linked pause on student loan payments at the end of the year while forgiving $10,000 in student loan debt for borrowers whose income falls below $125,000 a year, or $250,000 for a married couple. Paul said the relief will cut his outstanding debt in half. He didn't say it would get me out of debt. He said it's going to cut my outstanding debt in half. Vincent Joseph, who graduated in 2019 and currently works at a lobbying firm in Washington, said he was happy to hear the remaining $6,500 of his debt was likely to be relieved. This dude ain't even been out of school for 3 whole years, and he's already talking about, yeah, I ain't got to pay my dues. Okay, cool. There could be an entire next generation that does not have to work extra hours or additional jobs to repay this debt, he said, noting that he had taken on a job in college to pay off his loans. Many people working extra jobs as a result of the compromise on as a result of a compromise on spending extra time with friends and family because they are worried about their debt. He said, calling it a step, one step in the right direction. Are you hearing me? A 22-year-old is telling us what the step in the right direction is. Don't worry, the victim Olympians are running fast. They are Sha'Carri Richardsons. Millennials, or those born between 1982, I guess I'm right on the cusp because I was born in 1982. I'm a geriatric millennial. And 2000 have significantly more student debt, lower levels of home ownership, and less net worth than the previous generations. Alex Horton, 20, biology major at Howard University. Somebody say, yo, can I get an HBCU in the audience? HBCU, HBCU. Persevere Data TV says, the praise dances that will be done this weekend. I think the congregation will be able to get the Movados from Sam's now. You said they spurring economic activity, Persevere Data TV. I agree, my friend. HBCU, HBCU. Alex Horton, 20, a biology major at Howard University, said the announcement is a relief for those who plan further studies. He didn't say, listen, we learned our lesson. And this is the conversation that I was having with E. Black and a gentleman that came on before him. They didn't say, yo, we learned our lesson. No more debt. None of that. He said, listen, I'm going to continue to run in the Victim Olympics, and I'm going to take on more debt since you forgave that debt, because I want to further put myself in the same position that I didn't want to be in the first place. Now, how does that make sense? How does that make sense? Yo, somebody help me to understand how that makes sense. Don't worry, we're going to drop the link in the chat for y'all to be able to cam up and have a conversation today. As a biology student who wants to go to med school, I do rack up a lot of loans at school, so hearing that I could possibly get $20,000 or $10,000 off does sound really good. Advocates of student debt relief welcome the step, but also urge Biden administration to do more to deal with the systematic problems. They want the federal government to protect you against yourself. Ain't that crazy? They want them to protect you against themselves. Spencer Campbell, thank you for the 10 ball, says, Pastor Preach, the new numbers is $500 billion. Oh my Jesus. Let me see what y'all talking about, because I am very, very disturbed. I'm very, very disturbed. Shout out to this is crazy. Shout out to Kingdom Minded. Said, when I donate, I want the whole shebang to count. I had shout out to Kingdom Minded. Said I had her cracking up. Said don't say her real name. Respectfully, of course I won't. Thank you for continuing to contribute to the platform. Shout out to Kingdom Minded. Also got to give a shout out to Jerron Carter. Thank you, Jerron Carter. Uncle Funk. I appreciate you, big dog, for the 5 ball. And everybody that contributes to the platform. Corey Houston, for No Lies, I appreciate you. Sir Shy. Everybody that contributes to the platform, I appreciate you. This is insane. Absolutely insane. Let's continue. Fakira Taylor, an attorney with the National Consumers Law Center who focuses on student loans, described the step as life-changing for millions. The White House estimates its debt relief plan could lead to about 20 million borrowers having their debt completely canceled, about 43 million Americans having their federal student loan debt, according to whatever that link was. Taylor, however, added that the plan does not do enough to help borrowers with larger balances like many Black Americans who face heavy debt burdens. Administration should take additional steps to address racial inequities that the student loan system has exacerbated. And that means Black Americans and especially Black women, shout out to my Black ladies, are burdened by more student loan debt just to access the same opportunities as others. Shout out to Felicia Lockhart. Thank you for the 5 ball. Cash App, I appreciate you, love. Thank you, Felicia. Thank you, Ms. Lockhart. The Lockhart perspective, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. New Era Man says, I hope you go just as hard against Ukraine getting all that free money. You see how they like to conflate arguments? I can't just go hard. I can't go hard depending on the conversation that I want to talk about. Y'all want to divert my attention. Y'all not going to divert my attention today. We going to continue. Government said it's forgiving. Oh, Jesus Christ. So y'all want to go on vacation, continue to rack up debt, even though we've already had this conversation. So let's see exactly what's a part of this whole conversation. And then I'm going to go into the Biden thing and drop the link in the description for y'all to be able to cam up if you decide that you want to have a conversation or questions. Let's go into exactly what this entails.
If you have student loans, you're probably wondering how the president's student loan forgiveness announcement will impact your debt. Well, the first thing that you need to know, this only applies to government loans, meaning federal direct loans and Pell Grants. Any loans that you have from a private organization like a bank, well, they're not going to qualify.
First, what she said is, if you have a private loan, a bank, any organization outside of the federal government, you do not qualify. Ooh, it's going to be some victim Olympians that's mad at that one. If all loans do not apply, if you have a private loan and it is not through the Department of Education or a federal loan, you don't get it. You don't get it. Sorry.
With a regular federal loan, $10,000 can be forgiven. If you have Pell Grants, which are awarded to low-income students, you're looking at up to $20,000 in debt forgiveness. So how does all...
So $10,000 for the people that could afford to pay at least a little something on it. You only get 10. So the more that you actually grind and pay and all of that other type of stuff, the less you get. They're incentivizing the worst of us to continue to be the worst of us. This is literally the definition of buying an election, okay? If you were to get a Pell Grants were literally money given to you to be able to do what you need to do in order to make sure that you get your education. Pell Grants wasn't even a loan, but if you qualified for a Pell Grant and you actually got a Pell Grant, you can get $20,000, not just 10. This is big. This is big. Farmer DA says, kept all $285K of my loans with the Department of Education. Knowing this day will come, faith works. You know what? You know what? Now I remember you. I need you to cam up because I actually remember exactly who you are. We're going to have a conversation today. Let's continue.
All this work. Let's say you have Pell Grants and you're qualified to receive $20,000 in loan forgiveness. If you owe $15,000 in federal student loans, well, then the government is going to forgive all of that debt in its entirety. You're only eligible if you make...
If I'm not mistaken, you were the pharmacy student that said that you took out a whole lot of loans. And at the time you was running in the Victim Olympics. And I told you that, yo, why you running in the Victim Olympics? I remember now. You got a new chair though. Cause I remember you were sitting on the couch before, but I think you got a new chair now. We gonna get into that today.
Less than $125,000 a year, or if you're married, regardless of whether or not you have kids, $250,000 per couple. Well, this plan...
No, let's back that up. One of the benefits of being married, I guess is one of the benefits of being married. If you single, because we single. Y'all remember that Lil Wayne song? If you're married and you don't qualify under the $125,000 because you make too much, then you can include your spouse, and then you can still qualify to get that $50,000. I mean, to get that $250,000 threshold. I guess that's one of the benefits of being married, huh? I don't know.
Also includes capping the amount of loan payments that you owe on a monthly basis. And the plan also brings it down from 10% of your salary to 5%. It limits how long you're paying this debt to 20 years. The White House says it also will provide fixes to try and make student loan payments and forgiveness easier to manage, especially for military and public service workers. Is there a feeling, are you hearing from people about relative fairness in terms of this new announcement?
Yeah, there's no way to really fix the notion that it's unfair, because for many people it is. And if you are one of those people listening to the president talk right now about this plan and you've already paid off your loans, you're sitting there going, wait, what happened to my $10,000 or $20,000? A lot of people really do make life-altering decisions based on their student debt. They take out a cheaper mortgage for a home. They may not be able to drive the car that they want to. Their vacations might look a little bit different. So they've sacrificed, and they're not going to get a rebate. And so the president doesn't want to talk.
Translation, what he's saying is that people actually do the thing that they're supposed to do and be responsible. And so they're the ones that's being punished. The responsible people are the ones that not only are paying for the egregious actions of the ones that want to do all of the student loans, the ones that's being responsible are the ones that then have to pay for what everybody else is doing. Okay, I got you. Makes sense.
Talk about it too much because it is unfair for those who are in that situation.
So I dropped a link in the chat for whoever it is that wants to cam up and come up here and have a conversation, because I'm curious. I am going to play Biden's actual announcement, and then we're going to break it down and we're going to react to it. I'm going to play Biden's actual announcement, and then I'm going to give my thoughts. But I'm giving you guys an opportunity to be able to come up on the panel. The link, again, is in the description. And you guys are more than welcome to come up here and have a conversation. All right. Or it's not in the description. It's in the chat. Here, let me drop it in the description also, just to make sure that, we all good here. Link to the Patreon is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. If you guys have a need to get in touch with me personally, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com, and then we gonna get y'all popping. Jay Green, Jay, give me a peace sign, big dog. I'm gonna get you up on the panel. All right, let's have a conversation, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on, Jay?
Hey, Anton. What's going on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly fine, my friend. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. I just want to say my problem with the whole student loan forgiveness thing is that people already understood that the printing of money caused inflation, right? And things got much more expensive. And we kept hearing about it multiple times. Oh, everything's expensive because of all the money they printed. And then they go ahead and print more money to forgive these student loans. And people are celebrating it, immediately forgetting what caused all this inflation to begin with in the first place, outside of the supply chain issues and stuff like that. So a lot of people are saying, well, don't you want people to be, it's not fair for people to not have their student loans forgiven. It's like, listen, dude, it's not fair that people who didn't go to college, people who paid off their loans, or people who were not involved in the college system at all now have to have their taxes raised in order for other people to have their student loans forgiven. How is that fair?
I agree.
Right?
And the thing about it is that somebody is going to lose, right? Somebody got to
Of course.
lose. So it might as well be you, buddy. Come here. Take this L. Take this L and make sure that you continue to pay for the people that want to run in the Victim Olympics. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to work less. They're going to take a vacation. And then on top of that, they're also going to further their education to make sure that they find themselves in the same predicament again, because it didn't mean that they translated the lesson learned into a life lesson. It means that they have the opportunity to do it again because they got a handout.
Yeah, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I will say this. I think forgiving these loans without first reforming the system, first saying, okay, what do these people major in? Why are these colleges offering majors and degrees and stuff that people can't get jobs in? Why are administrators, like I read Elizabeth Warren was making $450K before she stepped down as an administrator to a college. We have to reform the entire school system so that this doesn't happen again. This is the equivalent of saying, hey, there's water on the floor in my kitchen. Let me get a bigger mop, instead of saying, hey, why is there water there in the first place? Where's the leak coming from?
Correct.
And then patting yourself on the back for just mopping the floor and getting a bigger mop. I think we need to reform the entire college system to ask, why are these things so expensive? Why are these colleges, I'm repeating myself, but why are these colleges offering degrees and stuff that you can't even get a job in? And why are these administrators getting so much money instead of just doing a broad stroke?
Well, the thing about it is that I still think that it's no matter what you do is going to be a problem. There's going to be people that complain because people don't want you to take away their freedom to be able to do it. Because then on the other side, let's say, for example, we start removing the Victim Olympics degrees and they're going to say, well, why don't liberal arts degrees matters? I want to go and, be a fairy one day, right? And I want to be a ballerina. And somebody is going to be somebody's going to be complaining somewhere. But the responsibility of people in power or people at these legislative levels that craft the laws is to do the thing that's in the best interest of people, not the best interest of buying votes. But they're kicking the can down the road and somebody's going to have to pay for it, and it's going to be you. It's going to be you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people are going to pay for it one way or another. If you don't pay for it, your children are going to pay for it. One way or another, they're going to get their money back, and they're going to get it from you. So,
correct. I agree with you.
Thank you, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. I want to give somebody else a chance. Thanks for having me on the show, man.
I appreciate you. I agree. I don't think that the young man said one word that I do not agree with. Thank you, my friend, for coming up here. And again, if you want to have the conversation, the link is in the chat, as well as in the description of the show. Feel free to hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. I am going to now play the actual announcement that Biden made in late afternoon to highlight how he wanted to deal with this whole student loan situation. Again, hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Link to the Patreon is in the description. And then if you want to get in contact with me personally, Zoom call, phone call, Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com. Let's continue this conversation, ladies and gentlemen.
We became, not figuratively, literally the best educated public in the world and better prepared than any other nation. And I would argue that it's one of the reasons why we were so successful and have been so successful. But as you've all observed, other nations have caught up. In the 21st century, in my view, I think the vast majority of the Americans, 12 years of universal education is not enough. And that we're going to be outcompeted by the rest of the world if we don't take action. But here's the deal. The cost of education beyond high school has gone up significantly. The total cost to attend a public four-year university has tripled, nearly tripled in 40 years. Tripled. Instead of properly funding public colleges, many states have cut back their support. We were just talking about that in the Oval. Many states have cut back support for their state universities.
You know what's so funny? Look at the cues and look at the body language. What they'll often say a lot of times is that they'll turn around. Wasn't we just talking about that? No, you was not just talking about that in the Oval. One of the things that you have to take into consideration, and this is a lie. It's not a full lie. It's a white lie, right? And let me break it down for you. And I actually have not seen this yet. So this is my first time seeing this and I'm reacting to it authentically. He said education is tripled. Okay, cool. That's the truthful part. The white lie is the context behind why it's tripled. And it's because of our inability to be able to manage inflation and then keep up with the cost of living. So let me break it down to you from a financial perspective. The cost of education is tripled. Cool. But the interesting thing about it is that the cost of houses is tripled, right? The cost of food is quadrupled. The cost of gas used to be 99 cents, $1 at the gas pump. When I was coming up before I was able to drive, now it's over $5. And so my point is that, and this is the reason why I teach finances and I teach the ability to be able to understand how money works, everything continues to go up with the rate of inflation. And so if you're keeping your money in the bank, for example, and the rate of inflation is at a historic 40-year high of 9.1%, if you compound that, right, over a span of 30 years, of course it's going to be more than triple. Of course it's going to be more than triple because the standard of living and the cost of everything has continued to go up because we continue to A, print more money, B, take on more debt, and C, the fact that we're giving out $300 to $500 billion in handouts and stimmies is going to continue to increase the cost of it. You're not reducing the cost of education. What you're doing is feeding into the fucking problem. And so they putting a Band-Aid over somebody that just got their fucking neck cut off. And because you will listen to this and you will say, oh man, this is the perfect fucking breakdown. Because you're a sheep and you're not paying attention to the context behind it. And you don't understand that somebody is going to pay for this, but this is going to be the middle class. Oh man, they got me cooking today. Let's continue. Again, the link is pinned for y'all to be able to cam up and have a conversation. I hope you're ready.
Leaving students to pick up more of the tab. And for 50 years, Pell Grants had been a key way for the federal government to help lower income families, particularly those earning less than $60,000 a year to send their kids to college. Those Pell Grants used to cover 80%.
But you know what it really started doing? It became a permanent handout. It became an entitlement. It was designed for one thing, but now it became an entitlement.
Cost of going to a public four-year college. Today, Pell Grants cover 30%, roughly 32%. That's one.
Hey, the farmer dude said that he was going to cam up again today. I'm waiting on him. Because I remember who you are now. I didn't remember yesterday, but I remember now. Come on, bro. Let's have a conversation. I'm curious. I promise you I did not go back and watch the video, but I remember who you are. For some reason, it's very quiet. The link is open. Y'all said, Anton, we want to come up here and have a conversation. It's real quiet up in these streets right now.
Third of the cost as opposed to before. It matters. I remember walking up and now
No. Don't wait on me to finish the video because I'm looking at this video and it looks to be a very long video. So I can stop and pause. I can pivot. Don't worry. I got some good controls up in here. I got it all set up perfectly. You are more than welcome to cam up.
Dad, like probably a lot of your folks, cared a lot about your education. My dad's greatest regret was that he never got to go to college. And my dad was a very well-read man, particularly history, but it was a great regret. And you always say, Joey, you're going to be a college man. And I say, Dad, but what does that matter? I mean, you can still get fired if you're a college man. He says, yeah, but they can never take it away from you. They can never take your education away. And I remember my senior year, I got into one of the little Ivies, and I got into a number of schools. And
this dude said I got into one of the little Ivies. When did an Ivy League school become little? Am I off? Did I miss something? When did an Ivy League school become little? He said I got into one of the little Ivies. He tried to skip over that part. We gonna have a conversation today. Oh yeah. Where we at in this video? 213. Let me write that down. What's going on, my friend?
Hey, man.
How you feel?
Not too shabby, man.
What's your thoughts?
You can see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Hey, man. The nature of the system, it's never going to change.
The nature of what system specifically?
Well, the system is designed to benefit those that hold assets.
Correct.
And probably the top 10% own like 80% of all the assets.
Okay.
So if the system is designed in such a way that the majority of the people under the top 10%, are living basically check to check, when you look at the savings rate, the only time it spiked was when they gave out stimulus checks, and then it only lasted for a few months, and the spike just went right back down to flat. So they're saying that majority of people have less than $1,000 in emergency savings.
That's correct, but the majority of the people is also doing the majority of the shopping. They had Balenciaga, they had the Gucci store, they still in PPP loans. They doing all of the shopping, and they spending all of the money on the things that actually don't add value to their life.
Obviously, but we're in a system based on
no. It has nothing. We're in a system that's based off of you can do what you want to do when you decide to run in the Victim Olympics, and so now you got to pay the price for it. See, let me tell you something. I own significant amount of assets, but nobody ever gave me anything. The system enabled me to be able to get myself out of my situation and poverty and living in the inner city of Detroit, to be able to do whatever it is that I wanted to do. But instead of going out there and fucking these hoes and partying, I decided to do the right thing. I got married. I worked hard. I worked hard as fuck. I spent the majority of my time in the library. I even had my first college job. My work study job was in the library, and I read fucking books. And then when everybody else was having a good time, I stayed studying, right? I stayed down for 10 years. So that I can then do what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Libraries is fucking free. They empty as hell though.
Yeah, because the library became digital. A physical library could only hold.
And you still don't fucking read, and so it's even more convenient, and you still don't do it.
I mean, you're talking about some people.
Tell me how the Dewey Decimal System works.
What?
Tell me how the Dewey Decimal System works.
Bro, I grew up in the technology age. I understand the Dewey Decimal System was used to organize the library.
How does it work?
But I can't.
How old are you?
I can't tell you. That's like you telling me asking me how to use an abacus.
How old are you?
Me, 28.
So you old enough to know how the fucking Dewey Decimal System works?
Yeah, I've heard of it, but
you ever been to a library before?
Top of my head.
Even when you was a little kid, you ever been in a library before?
Yeah, I used to remember when I used to have to go to the library to do book reports and, go do research.
So you should fucking know how the Dewey Decimal System works then if you've been to the library.
Yeah, but repetition breeds memory. If you don't use something, you're going to lose it. Like, you ask the majority of people how that works, then they can't.
I'm glad you said that, because they gave you the tools that you needed in order to be successful. They conditioned you as a child to, hey, go to the library, spend your time, so on and so forth, right?
But that doesn't mean I'm not personally successful.
But you're capping, but what you're saying, but you're missing it. This is not about you personally. We're using you as an example. But my point is that who doesn't have access to the information that they need in order to go and do what they're supposed to do? How is it the system's fault when we have more freedom than we ever have and more freedom than any other country in the world? But it's the system's fault that people don't do what they're supposed to do in order to be successful.
No, I never said it's the system's fault.
You did say
that's obviously personal choice. I'm saying the system is designed in a way where it benefits the asset holders.
It does.
So if you're not an asset holder, you're definitely on the losing side.
you're describing it wrong. And that's what makes it difficult, because the system is designed in a way that benefits people that do the thing that's best for themselves, that acquire assets that's available to everybody, not the asset holders. Because if when you frame it that way, you try to demonize people that's actually successful.
I wouldn't demonize them because I'm one of the people that have a lot of assets.
So you shouldn't frame it that way.
But I understand that the system is geared that way. You know what I mean? Just like if you get married, right? You get a better tax situation sometimes, not all the times, but majority of times you're able to get better tax breaks.
So let me ask you a question. Do you agree or do you disagree?
The system is designed to encourage that.
So do you agree or do you disagree with the student loan forgiveness?
I don't agree with any free handouts. There shouldn't be such thing as a free lunch.
I thought we was about to have some. Okay, we good.
Yeah, but I can't argue against what they do because this is just the nature of the beast. They'll never stop doing that because we're living in a fiat system that, you know, they'll just literally print this shit until there's no end in sight. Like, remember when the pandemic happened, right? And they asked Jerome Powell, right? They were like, how far are you willing to go? They were like, yo, we have unlimited balance sheet capacity, right? The Fed's balance sheet is around like $9 trillion or some outrageous number that most people can't fathom. That's like 12 zeros behind the 9.
Stay there. Don't go anywhere. I wanna add somebody else into this conversation really quickly. Give me a second. Don't you go nowhere. I like you. Gotta wipe your lip, bro. You got some white stuff right here. What you got, that cocaine cowboy over there? What you got going on over there, buddy?
Nah, I had a little blister.
Don't go off the camera right now. Where you go, buddy? Hey. Come on back.
My bad. Nah, somebody tried to call me.
Oh, okay. You good? You got that white stuff off your lips?
Yeah, I have to keep it that way, bro. I burned myself, yo, so I gotta just.
I feel you. I just wanted to make sure you're looking good on camera, big dog.
All right.
What's going on, Ant?
Good morning, or I guess you're in the morning time. Your time's up, but afternoon. How are you?
Ant, you were the pharmacy student that I talked to a long time ago, aren't you?
I was actually 4 years practicing, so I was still, I was working retail at the moment, but yeah.
Were you the person that was telling me that you was almost $300,000 in debt?
Correct.
I remember you. You had a little bit of different setup. You got the chair and stuff going on now.
Yeah, new work brings new gifts, so you know how that is.
How you doing? You doing well now?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Just moved, liking the new dig. So I just bought this house actually, so I haven't been able to put anything up on the seal or anything. So yeah.
Okay. You in the U.S., right?
Yeah, D.C.
Okay. All right. You winning in life. You just bought you a crib. You doing well. I see you got the molding for the
today. God, Allah, Yahweh. They provide. So you be living good today.
Got you. So you got the crown molding. You got all of that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You're looking good over there. Congratulations, my friend.
Appreciate that, sir.
I'm curious, do you have the same sentiment that you had when we first spoke?
It's the same.
How do you have the same sentiment?
The fruits of that anger and that frustration is culminates into what we have today. I know in your text, I was waiting for you to finish the video so you could get down to the real nuggets.
No, you are more important. You're more important than that video.
To get to the nuggets of the actual plan. And I wish you asked me that Dewey Decimal System question because that was actually my first job. Make sure if you do have a kid, get them first job should probably be in the library.
So if I remember correctly, you were saying that you acquired close to, if not more than, $300,000 in debt.
It's $286,793 and
you're a smart guy. Listen, you are, and I remember. You know why I remember you? Because you laughed at me. You laughed at my community college education.
You were being yourself, and it was pretty egregious. So it kind of brought that out of me.
You laughed at my community college education. Huh?
You know how you get. You know how you get.
You laughed at me.
You was in your whole Anton glory throwing cash, and
I was throwing cash yesterday too.
I know. And
you laughed because I refused to run in the Victim Olympics, and you said, your community college education compared to what I got going on over here. And I said, well, what you got going on over there? You said, I am a highly educated man. I said, well, what does that entail? $300,000 in student debt. I said, what the fuck is going on out here, right? And then, I remember you well. And then what happened after that was you started running in the Victim Olympics, and you said that it was basically the system's responsibility to ensure that you, who chose to go into pharmacy, was sufficiently supplied with everything you needed in order to follow your passion.
And that's what they've done today. I'm very happy to that.
And now you're advocating for continued running in the Victim Olympics. You're back on the campaign trail.
There's no campaign when you won.
Well, yeah, you won. I'm guessing that your entire student loan is paid off.
No, actually, when you look at the caveat, virtually it is. So, the $20,000 for Pell Grant, which I actually did apply for earlier on. I kind of did the loophole of classifying myself as independent, so parents didn't have to take away or take the tax deduction from me anymore. So I get that. Plus, on top of the 5% that they do for IBR plans, which is down from 15%. And if you were to continue reading that, they do, if you can get your AGI less than $32,000 a year, which I can pretty much do, your payments will be zero. And they changed the threshold from 20 years repayment to 10. So virtually they're forgiven for me if I make enough deductions out of this year and the next forward. So
get it then. So taking advantage of the system.
Don't we all?
You vote. Who you voting for next election? You voting blue? You voting red?
I'll be voting blue. They've earned it. They've earned it. I can definitely say they've earned it.
They bought your vote?
They definitely did.
It cost them $300,000 almost.
I'm a single issue voter. That's all it is. Win or loss, some game for me. And
how much did it cost them to earn your vote?
From the U.S. Department of Education?
Yeah.
Apparently $285,000.
That's a hell of a vote. That's a hell of a vote. Listen, for that type of money, you better be giving them some sucky on top of that too.
No, none of that.
You bet. No. For that type of money, you better be giving some sucky. Listen, if I give somebody a house,
that'll only work unless the wife.
If I give somebody a house, they bending over, and they giving me some sucky on top of it. They gonna take the whole load, bro.
Let's keep you monetized.
I ain't worried about that. I've said more egregious things than this. Okay. If I give a chick $287,000, forgive me, I'm a community college student. I'm not as educated as you are. I know you are.
We all gain education through life.
Oh, so now he wants to play humble. You see what they do when they get money? We should have never gave y'all money. You see what they do when they get money? They start to get a little, okay, all right. Listen. If I give somebody $287,000, you know what they're gonna have to do for me?
Let me entertain it.
They're gonna have to hold both cheeks open, arch your back, put your face in that fucking pillow, and we gonna do what we do, baby.
I get you. But
listen, you ever heard this song from Miguel called Arch and Point?
Has been doing that to me and others for.
You ever heard this song from Miguel called Arch and Point?
I believe that was on the debut album, if I'm not.
It's called Arch and Point. It's a great song.
I'll take a listen to it.
But here's the thing: you said that they've been raped. You saying that they've been graping you for a long time?
Yeah, before I kind of knew the tricks of the trade, I would usually have to pay $980,000 to $1,000 a month for that IBR or income-based repayment based on the 15%. This is before.
So how have they been raping you if they've basically provided you with a free education and empowered you to be able to buy that house with that crown molding in there?
Because again, with my values, I do believe education should be free in this country, especially if I'm giving back in a way that is medicine or any kind of way that is necessary for.
But you're being handsomely rewarded. I mean, I don't know if you're willing to talk about your salary, but I'm sure you're being handsomely rewarded off of that, right?
The IRS has bulked up their army, so we can keep that very quiet. But yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not asking you to divulge your salary, but I'm saying you're doing well for yourself, though, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand, what have you been through that would qualify you to say that the IRS or the country at large has been bending you over?
Not me particularly. When I say me,
no. You said you. They've been doing you like that for a long time.
Well, let me rephrase that to us.
Ain't no us. It's you. We are all individuals. We are not about to conflate this argument by making it be us when it's a you.
If it is me and you're a new grad and you're coming out and having to pay, I guess, the federal government $1,000 back of your loan for the next 20 years, you would definitely feel that, especially with the rising cost of housing, groceries, and this was probably even 10 years ago was pretty high. And having to pay for that, you would definitely feel that in your pocket, and you would definitely live different.
Yeah, but you had a choice and you signed up for that, so you can't say that they did you anyway when you're the one that volunteered for it.
Yes, I took that choice at 18, even as a Pell Grant recipient. You have to understand, for the Pell Grant, you have to be making or claim to be making under the poverty line. And as myself claiming that it's independent, I wasn't making any money, so I did get 4 years or.
So they was giving you money then too. Listen, that's like being married to a woman and you taking care of her and she's a stay-at-home wife and she says that because you didn't buy her a Rolls Royce that you abusing her. Baby, you getting taken care of. We giving you money. I need you to do your reasonable service. I don't really understand how you're conflating this argument and you saying that the government did you dirty and they've been bending you over when they've literally provided you with the opportunity and was giving you money along the way for you to be able to survive and eat. It wasn't but think about it. It wasn't even an eat what you kill type of situation. It was, listen, we gonna take care of you and I'm gonna slap you on the butt and change your diaper while you're going through this situation. And then all we asking you to do is do what you're supposed to do and pay your taxes when you get done with it. And give us a little bit back of what it is that we already contributed to you.
I did want to answer that. I can get to your question, but I do want to go ahead. I can answer both if that is.
Hey, I feel like that's that sense of entitlement that's
been
ingrained into people over the years because all these social programs, a lot of them started out as temporary things. What?
How is the Pell Grant temporary? That was an actual state-funded program through the federal-funded program through the federal government.
It was a handout still. It's still a handout.
What I'm saying is the majority of social programs were designed to be temporary, but because of the political incentives, right, they almost all became permanent.
How is Medicare
from
temporary?
all the way back to the Great Depression? What?
Okay, if we stay at the Great Depression, how is Medicare a temporary initiative? How did FDR institute that Medicare would be a temporary? I'm very well versed on that time period as well. We actually call it again, it was the Great Depression, but still that was after the 1920s boom. But yes, it was definitely a permanent welfare program for people. That's how he got elected 4 times in a row.
So they bought votes back then too, and they gave a handout. And then over time, people became entitled, and then they started to have the mentality that you had. And then you started saying that you see, again, higher education is exactly that. It's higher education. Life in general, you're supposed to get the minimum that you're required, right? When you talk about, for example, a father and a kid, right? It's not his responsibility to buy him a car, but eventually, if that kid sees that every other kid is getting a car from their parents, they're going to feel entitled because they're going to set their standards based off of the people that surround them. It doesn't mean that it's right, but what it means is that they're going to condition themselves to feel a certain type of way, which is one of the reasons why I'm against handouts in the first place, is because it turns from an opportunity for you to benefit off of somebody's good graces, which in this case, we know that they're just buying votes, and 2, what have you done for me lately? Yo, this is a handout that should be expected to. Now what you saying, and you're saying that, Listen, education, no matter how high you go, whether you go into graduate school, whether you just get an associate's degree, a bachelor's, no matter what, it should be free. Handouts turn into entitlements when you don't have people with the right frame of mind understanding that they are supposed to have a certain perspective about being appreciative instead of feeling entitled about what it is that they got. You blessed. You're very much blessed.
Imagine going to college was based on merit. Hold on for a second. Imagine going to college was based fully on merit. Like if you couldn't get the grades and prove that you could, pass and all these things, you wouldn't be able to go. Because think about it. Especially at the state school level, right? Hold on, at the state school level, right? There's like 40%. There's like 40% of these kids finish, right? A lot of these kids don't even finish and they get stuck with loans because the government subsidizes these loans, right? So if the government starts to subsidize it, what does it do? It increases the demand, right? They're unnaturally increasing the demand of people saying, now, I deserve to go to school. The government's supposed to subsidize it, right? I'm supposed to have this. Instead of saying, I earned this. That's why I'm here, right? So you have all these kids that are like, well, I'm going to college. Then they get there, they're unprepared, and they drop out, especially at the state school level, right? So you look at some of these schools that have 20% graduation rate, 30% graduation rate. So that means if there's 10,000 kids came in freshman year, 2,000 of them made it to the end? But a lot of them are still stuck with student loans. Why? Because they didn't earn that. They just felt like they were entitled to get there. So now the government is saying, well, you know what? We're going to forgive all that money that you fucked up. That doesn't make sense.
Is he still there?
I'm sure he was. It's just his camera is probably going in and out.
Okay,
we can wait until he come back. There
Every time somebody calls, like, because I gotta keep my business phone active.
Were you still going? I wanted to give you a chance before I
reply. Because that's the same.
Before you reply.
Hold on. The majority, listen, I agree with Anton, but the majority of people, they don't understand basic economics, right? So they don't understand something as simple as supply and demand. So a lot of things that sound good in theory, in fact, in reality, it doesn't work. That's why communism in real life, it doesn't really benefit anybody because we all can't be on the same level. Life just doesn't work like that, right? So now, if you tell me that you're going to subsidize housing and you're going to create something like rent control, that literally creates more homelessness because if you make the price of something cheaper, the demand goes up. But you can't magically make more houses pop out of thin air.
So before you answer that, let me read some of the super chats. Please hold your thought. Cool?
All right.
Lil Black Duck says, the problem is that folks don't have a concept of how much money they're giving away. For context, 1 million seconds is 12 days. 1 billion is 32 years. Shout out to Lil Black Duck. I appreciate the fireball. Thank you, my friend. Jeffrey Woodland says, credit union life. I belong to 7 credit unions. Shout out to Jeffrey. Jalil Stevens says, high school age kids are super misinformed about college and the true cost of it. I don't get why people think it's okay to let kids that can't drink sign their life away. Shout out to you, Jalil. Also, my girl, shout out to Happy Intrinsic says, in my opinion, he could have gave 10 to 20,000 to the ones who were constantly making their payments before 2020, not the ones who stopped paying. The Coldest Jenkins, thank you for the 20 ball, says 10K is nothing when most are 100K in student debt and student loan debt. Biden hasn't done anything tangible for American descendants of slaves. He did for Asians and Ukrainians who aren't even citizens. FBAs get Juneteenth, Maya Angelou coin, no tangibles, no vote. Shout out to everybody that contributed to the platform. I'm appreciating y'all thoughts. Go ahead, Ant. I'm curious as to what your response is to him. You muted, bro. You muted, Ant. It says guesses muted themselves. Go
yes, there was a few things of error with that. It's for one, when you quoted that 30% graduation rate, that's usually mostly what they elaborate for the Ivies, and those tuition fees are usually astronomical, but the students actually benefit from what they call they get their endowment, and they also get scholarships.
Wait, there's not 30% graduation rate in the Ivy Leagues. Ivy Leagues is like 90%.
Hold on, wait. Hey, Al, you gotta let him finish. Go ahead.
Also, when you quoted that amount for state, you're saying that's why they have state schools. to begin with, because they do offer a lower tier tuition rate for that risk. So you don't have to assume that risk of going into $50,000 versus $10,000 state in school tuition. It's a very big difference, vastly different. And also they do have a rate limit. They don't just allow anybody to go to school. You have to have certain GPA requirements, as well as you have to have certain scores regarding the SAT and the ACT, which I believe they have veered away from that now to kind of allow more people in, but that's because they have a drop in freshman incoming classes. But still, we do have that gatekeeping tool as well. So if you do persevere to school and you don't make it after freshman year, you just have that freshman year debt. We're not talking about the astronomical debts that you do upon graduating. So that's a completely different argument. It's very disingenuous. But I did just want to also ask for Anton. It's just, let me give you a question regarding that. It's regarding entitlements. And you quoted about having cars, and again, the sentiment was keeping up with the Joneses. So let's say within your household, I don't want to be too personal, but did you have chores growing up?
We're trying to get the money even with...
Trying to unmute myself. I was trying to unmute myself because I was trying to let y'all have a conversation. Okay. No, not really.
Okay. Would you say your daughter may have?
I mean, I had to do stuff around the house, but I didn't have like an official chore. But yeah, for the sake of the conversation, let's say yes.
Okay. And let's just say your daughter grows up or lives in a better lifestyle.
No, use me. I had chores growing up.
Okay. So you had chores growing up. Would you say that you lived in a middle to higher income, I guess, household?
No.
Okay. So let's just say if you did, and your peers, you can kind of see this within the environment that you're in now. So let's just say you did, and you did do your chores around the house, and within those communities, your parents also do give you some heatway or kind of employ you within their own company that they have there as well. And let's just say it's your 16th birthday, and you see everybody that you're on a football team with, you're on a lacrosse team with, they're getting cars for your 16th birthday party. Mm-hmm. Now, if your parents were to come up to you and say, this is your 16-year-old self, you haven't really developed your brain functioning in a sense. This is the same age that you also kind of sign up to start applying for colleges as well, sending out your GPA, sending out those letters. Would you also feel that you were entitled for a vehicle upon that 16th-year-old, since all of your peers are getting those vehicles as well?
No.
I mean, because you're kind of bred into the environment. You're not a silo. You have to interact with these people every day.
No.
You're saying your 16-year-old self would not feel any inch of, like, maybe I should have this too.
No, see, you don't have to say, would you feel? I didn't feel. And one of the benefits
you didn't grow up in that environment, though.
No, I did, because you got to understand that I still went to a school that was. So listen, my father made the decision to send me to private school. And so even though we didn't have a lot of money, what happened was, instead of him buying a new car and instead of them going on vacations and things like that, they made the sacrifice, and we had to do a lot of volunteer work and all of that for me to go into, right? And then I transferred from that over into a high school in Cass Tech. And I will tell you that the majority of my friends their parents made a lot of money. They were doctors, they were lawyers, they were a lot of those different things. And they all got cars. I remember that my dog Sean, shout out to Sean McElrath, he was driving and he would pick me up from school sometimes, and we would go to Burger King and stuff before school and all of that. I didn't get my first car until I was almost 19 years old. And the reason why that is because my father told me, I'm not buying you a car. And I already understood the assignment before we even got up to that age. I knew I wasn't getting a car. That wasn't what it was in my household. What it was in my household is that I'm going to give you the minimum requirement, and I'm going to do everything I can to give you all of the education that you need in order to get to the point that you need to get to. After 18, you want your own. What he did was he gave me all the tools I needed in order to be successful, and then I had to go to work and buy my own car. Now, conversely, it's funny because when I bought my second car, I still had my first car. And I told this story the other day. Somebody didn't have a car, and they felt entitled to a car. And so everybody was asking me, since I had so much, because I was making $118,000 a year my first year out of high school, they said, since you have so much, why don't you give him a car? And I gave him a car, and he fucked it up. He destroyed it, he trashed it, and he never really learned the lesson that came with working hard and becoming a man, because he never had to earn anything. Everything that he had was given to him by other people that were successful around him. And so his entitlement spirit is the thing that drove him to be a weak man. But me having to go through it and suffer is one of the things that implored me to be the man that I am today. I'm resourceful. I'm awesome. I know how to go and get it. I'm not depending on anybody in order to make sure that my family is taken care of. I'm not looking for a handout. I never expected to be able to get the opportunities that other had. And so I worked extra hard in order to do so. And I made the sacrifice. And instead of incurring all of that debt, I went to community college, right? And then I went for a few years and I was working 2 full-time jobs. And even when I was in community college, I paid it myself, right? And then after that, I wound up getting a job at the University of Michigan. And the reason why I went into academia instead of private practice or a private institution is because I knew that academia was not only going to give me double match my retirement contribution, but they was going to pay for my higher education when I got my bachelor's degree. And so everything I got was based off of, or everything that I've done is based off of the lessons that my father taught me early in my life. And he told me that nobody owes you anything. I don't care what your friends do. I don't care what's going on around you. I don't care what happened to your brothers that's older than you. You have your own path. And as a man, you got to make your own way. Don't ask nobody for nothing. Don't beg nobody for nothing. What you get is based off of what you contribute, and you are going to be rewarded for your efforts. And that's what I was taught. I was never taught to look at what everybody else is having and compare myself to them.
And what age were you first taught this?
I was taught it since birth. It's always been an expectation that you're going to take care of yourself.
How does that make you feel with the relationship with him now?
I'm thankful.
Okay.
It was the best thing that he could have ever done for me. Of all the things that my father ever did for me, the best thing that he could have ever did for me was give me the very thing that I needed in order to be successful, which is the foundation and being an example of what a man is supposed to be. And then also on top of that, making sure that I went through it myself and I suffered, because those early lessons and that controlled environment in which I was able to fail taught me how to be a man for the long term.
Okay. That's kind of why I prefaced the question, to kind of put you into that environment of, again, working, if your father did own his own business, and working under them and kind of just working towards that. And you kind of see what all your peers, because we're not all in a silo, and seeing that as well. A 16-year-old adolescent will sometimes feel that sense of entitlement, but during your inverse, you said you were taught this, I guess, since the cradle. So it's kind of like a schism there. It's not. I actually kind of feel bad.
Because you still because when you get 16 and when you get 17, where do you spend the majority of your time?
School, volunteering, also if you
around your peers, outside of your household.
Yeah.
Correct?
They don't have any influence on you.
No, they didn't. And there's people in this chat that went to school with me, and they could tell you that I walked to the beat of my, the same way that I am now was the same way that I was then. I didn't give a fuck when everybody was running out. When everybody was running out and doing certain things, I was disciplined to say enough. Fuck y'all. When everybody was out there going and rocking out with chicks, I was disciplined enough to say, yo, I'm getting married, because I did what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it based off of the lessons that my father taught me.
I think you're conflating following versus influence. Influence is kind of a sense of taking nuggets to pick up and drop off. Following is, again, fully committing and doing the things what the herd does. Influencing you, so you didn't take anything little that they may have or anything little like the style.
No, let's stick to your example of the car.
So people were wearing baggy jeans in school. You were just straight laced and polo.
I was wearing slacks, Gucci loafers, a fucking pullover polo shirt with the vest to match it. Okay. And I can get my senior book and show it to you right now. Okay. When everybody was with the baggy and the white tees and all of that shit, I was dressed like a fucking preppy. When we go to the Lapeef network, when everybody else is wearing, all of the Gucci and shit, I'm dressed like Carlton. I do what the fuck I want when I want to. I don't care what nobody else is doing.
I do as well. But
so, Anton, could I say something for a second?
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Could I get a chance to talk? So now my thing is, right, y'all becoming very subjective about influences and, your peers and stuff. Let's just keep it to an objective conversation just for a second, right? Just hear me out, right? Now, a lot of people are misled by what politicians say because they just don't understand basic economics, right? They don't understand simple things, like I said, supply and demand. So
dude, Kojak knew me.
Makes a law.
He went to school with me. I was dressed fresh to death. Bro, sometimes I would wear a fucking suit to school if I felt like it, because that's just how I moved. I didn't care what nobody was doing, bro. Man, let me go get my senior book. You go ahead, Al. Let me go get my senior book.
Yeah, so my thing is this, right? So let's just be very objective, right? Let's take away all the bullshit, right? So the law of supply, right, says as the price of something goes up, right, the demand will go down, but the supply will go up, right? The law of demand says as the price of something goes up, the demand will go down, but the supply will go up. So there always has to be an equilibrium, right? So now if the government comes in and tells you, well, everyone deserves to have health care. Okay, everyone deserves to have health care. Now, economics, the central principle is scarcity. So there's not an unlimited supply of healthcare resources out there. There's not an unlimited amount of doctors and nurses in hospitals, right? So if you pass a law by legislation and just stroke of a pen tomorrow, everyone deserves to have healthcare. You can all go to the hospital for free, right? So now you made the price basically zero. So the demand is definitely going to go up based on the law of supply and demand. The demand is going to definitely increase. But did the supply of healthcare resources increase by that stroke of that pen? No. So what is that going to create? Shortages.
That's interesting. That's interesting you bring up healthcare. Can you name the country with the highest amount of doctors per capita?
Probably Cuba, because they incentivize the hell out of it.
Who is it?
I think it's Cuba because they incentivize.
Okay, wait. It's Cuba, correct? So what kind of, I guess, governmental infrastructure are they under currently?
Would you want to sacrifice
the
standard
you
of living you enjoy?
What kind of governmental infrastructure is Cuba under? I've been to Cuba many times. So can you tell what is the governmental infrastructure of Cuba?
You mean what type of political system?
Yes,
because they don't have infrastructure. Dog shit.
Okay, if you want to use that semantic word, but what kind of political system are they under today?
They're working under a socialist communism system.
Okay,
a Marxist system.
Wait, and they have the highest number of per capita physicians, doctors, nurses as well. Correct?
Hey, but what about everybody else? Because this is the thing. You can't put all your eggs in one basket.
Can I also ask one last question? One last question. What other developed country outside of the U.S. developed the COVID vaccination at an accelerated rate? The second after we did.
What?
What is this country after us that developed their COVID vaccination after us, or C-19?
Okay.
Can you answer that question? Can you answer that question?
Hold on. Yeah, because I don't understand. Because remember, the vaccines that we had were mRNA vaccines.
Because you said they go without resources. And I'm kind of just fighting the point that you said they go without resources because I've been to Cuba and I kind of know. I know people that went to medical school in Cuba. And what you're saying isn't true.
What am I saying isn't true? I'm saying they don't have the same standard of living as an American. Because, yeah, you might have a lot of doctors and nurses, but what about software engineers? What about accountants, right? What about electricians, right? What about all the other things? Because the government incentivized that. So they subsidize one specific type of education.
They have plenty of electricians. They have plenty of electricians. They have plenty of all the other things. The only thing stopping Cuba is the embargo.
Okay. So if Cuba is such a thriving economy, right? Why aren't they like a Japan? Japan has no arable land. They have to import all their food and energy.
Japan hasn't been under embargo for 50 years. Japan hasn't been under an embargo for the past 50, 60 years.
Yeah, but even with the embargo, right? What does that mean? They're not self-reliant enough to develop these industries themselves?
You were comparing it to Japan. I'm telling you the argument. You can't compare that because even with the embargo, they've still been able to maintain as they have. They're not Haiti. They're not any of the other Caribbean islands. They've been self-sufficient with what they have.
But would you trade your standard of living to go live in Cuba?
I'm gonna have to pull out the senior book out of the garage.
I'm saying, would you go move down there then? Go live down there and be a pharmacist.
Pull out the senior book out of the garage, bro. Because I was looking phenomenal.
If you believe that's a better place to be because they have more doctors per capita and nurses per capita in America, that means that you should be incentivized to leave right now.
When did I ever say that Cuba's
and go
better?
Be a pharmacist down there.
I don't even know if I should sell some of these. Better?
But you're making it seem like,
I made it seem like that's not what I said.
All I said was, if If the demand of something increases,
Woo-wee.
the supply doesn't increase, that means you have a shortage, right or wrong. If you increase the demand of something, but
You
you
keep
don't
quoting
increase the
supply and
supply,
demand.
Wee. Anton
You
moved
keep
to the
quoting
beat of his
supply and
own
demand. I
drum.
took a 200 level economics course as a GPA pattern. I'm very well versed in the other factors of economic fracture structures as well as the mathematics in it. You have to take statistics and other math classes along with that. So I'm very well versed in how economies work all across the globe. So you don't have to give me the spiel on supply and demand. I'm very well suited in supply and demand. If that's the
I'm gonna
only
bring
factor
you up
that
to
you
the
have
libertarian.
regarding, if that's the only factor you
$10,000
have
off their
regarding
student loan,
economics, then
makes
this is not a conversation you want to have.
Yeah, I don't think you understand. I'm not some dummy, right? I'm just as probably educated as you, or probably more educated than you are, right? So we can talk economics, we can talk finance, we can talk tech, we can talk
I'm
health,
not saying that you
right?
aren't. I'm
We
not
can
saying
talk a lot
that
of
you
different
aren't, but
topics.
you're not giving me sufficient evidence to prove that you are.
All I'm saying is take away the subjectivity. If you make the demand of something go up and you don't increase the supply, you're going to have a shortage. So you're going to have to figure out how you're going to divvy it up, right? Because the government can say
Anton,
everyone
are you
deserves to
ready?
have beach.
Anton, are you ready?
Am I
Hold
ready
on.
for what?
If the government, everyone deserves to have beachfront property, but there's only so much beachfront. So how are you going to divvy up? You're going to have a lottery. You're going to have a ration. Because you can't magically make more beachfront property appear. So if the government says everyone deserves to have an education and go to school for free, right? You're going to make more colleges magically appear out of thin air? How are you going to get that many professors? You're going to magically make them appear out of thin air? So you're going to have to find a way to divvy it up. There's going to be a huge demand. So how are you going to meet that demand with the same supply? It's impossible. That's why giving out all these handouts and entitlements, it doesn't really work. It just backfires. Why do you think the strongest rent control laws have the most homelessness? It's not a coincidence. They increased the demand, but they didn't increase the supply.
Hello, everyone.
What's going on, big dog? How you feel?
I feel pretty good, man. Just took a walk, got some sun. Remember, black people, vitamin D is important. It's true. It's true. That's why we were hit the hardest
I ain't
during
seen these
the
pictures in a long
situation.
time, bro.
Yeah. So I got triggered with the with the whole Cuba thing.
Milk, because black people in the north used to get rickets. That's why milk is fortified with vitamin D.
Anton moved to the beat of his own drum. Oh, y'all about to have me doing some throwback photos out here. I ain't never did Throwback Thursday. Out here in these streets.
What did you have waves too?
But Anton,
waves is crazy, bro. The waves is crazy.
I wanted to touch on the Cuba thing just really quickly. I got like 30 minutes for my next meeting. Yeah, man, it's true. Education in Cuba is universal. I wouldn't call it free because 90% of the wages are taken by the government. However,
that's what Ant want.
Yeah, well, I would just say that also Cuba sells doctors, so they are you also cannot pick which career you go into because the doctors are a product, so they're kind of like semi-slaves. So when they get exported to countries like Haiti and other African countries, etc., the government takes about 80% of those wages. And there's also other conditions regarding whether or not their family can visit them outside the country, or, for example, if they decide to stay in those countries, they're breaking a contract with the government, so they cannot go back to Cuba to visit their family for 8 years. This has been documented. Go on the news and just Google. And then on top of that, if you look at other countries that have also universal education, like Argentina or Spain, etc., you're going to notice that they have, for example, 40%.
A lot of girls
poverty.
in these pictures. I'm sorry.
No problem, man. 40%
poverty. A lot of women that was laying in my bed at the wrong times.
In Argentina. Or like
a lot of women that was laying in my bed at the wrong time.
God damn it, Anton. Excuse me.
It was a lot of women that we captured pictures of.
Anton, let him talk for a second because he's making a lot of sense, right?
And
this is the point, right? Both states,
a lot of women in these pictures, bro.
Canada.
In Spain, for example, the young people.
I need to throw some of these away, bro.
There's a 25% unemployment for young people, and doctors, when they get out of med school, only make $2,000 a month in Spain. So there's always trade-offs, and there's these incentives that basically, in Cuba, for example, many people apply to be doctors, but it's because they get the opportunity to leave the island, right? So we have a lot of doctors, but our buildings are falling down. type of stuff because we don't have enough engineers or we don't have enough anything else really, and we have people
I just said that,
performing.
and this guy told me that basically I don't know what I'm talking about. I just said that to him. You were listening, right? That
No, of course, that's why I got triggered. I had to say something. So I'll let him
so
respond
now,
if he wants to,
so now, what do you have to say, brother? Listen, you have a genuine Cuban now in the building, basically, saying what I was saying. So now, what do you have to say to that? Since you're so versed in economics, what is the definition of economics? What's the definition of economics? Spit it
the
out.
study of human
Verbatim.
behavior.
No, that's not the definition of economics. The definition of economics, right? I'm not looking at any screens, right? Right?
No, it's the study of human behavior.
Wait. Hold on. You said economics is not the...
Oh, snaps. I just found the Buick Regal.
Economics is not the study of human behavior.
It is.
Yeah, this is not.
Economics is the study.
Why? Don't go nowhere. Why you gonna be back?
Bro, just tell me your argument, brother. It's all good.
Okay. I think I kind of laid out my argument there, but again, I am aware of Cuban nationals doing the leasing process for their country as well, and how much the Cuban government does take from them. I was just telling my inference of knowing U.S. nationals or U.S. citizens going to Caribbean medical schools such as Cuba, getting their education, and then also pursuing their adventures after that.
You could go to Puerto Rico and become a nurse for cheap.
Puerto Rico as well. I was just giving the perspective on that sense there. And again, it does offer that program to you. So
no, but listen, American universities are bloated.
You want to see how I dressed in high school?
Because of the loans. So you can become a doctor.
I wore Versace shirts back in fucking high school, bro.
Jesus Christ, man.
I wore Versace shirts in high school.
That's too black, Anton. I mean,
I wore Versace shirts in high school, bro.
You people love name brands too much.
Call it what you want. I dressed the same way back then as I was dressing now. Ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed. I'm still the same. I was wearing Versace in high school. Gucci loafers and Versace. That's what I was wearing.
I'll give it to you. It's very original.
Y'all didn't even know. Y'all didn't know nothing about Versace back then.
I went through a Pitbull, Little John phase. I did all the things. But then I got prepping in college.
I'm sorry. I'm going to let y'all debate. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No problem, man. I even forgot. And I'm just thinking I should get a Versace shirt. Whatchamacallit? The American educational system is bloated, especially in college, because of the loans allow colleges to have underwater weaving basket degrees. You know what I'm saying? So in a normal country, you can just become a doctor in a fraction of the time, like 6 years, instead of taking 12. You know what I'm saying? Because you just take the classes that you need. You don't need to know about Shakespeare to become a doctor. You are basically a mechanic of a person.
Nobody takes Shakespeare pre-med.
No, but you do have to take a bunch of electives and a bunch of other classes that you don't need, man. You don't really need. That's the truth.
Not really.
Imagine a vocational school for like medicine. What would that take?
Did you know I was back in high school? I was busting down chicks that went to Spelman. See the Spelman shirt? It's beautiful, ain't it?
All right, y'all. It's been great. I'll hit y'all up.
All right, my bad. I'm not going to distract y'all.
In any case, yes. I agree that education could be leaner. And we got to take money away from these schools. That's all.
Yeah. Because the government...
I'm going to tell you why he really left. Want me to tell you why he left? I was pouring salt. I was pouring salt in the wounds right now. But the reason why he really left is because his example fell flat. He diverted away. He diverted away, and he said, "Oh wow, she's beautiful." He diverted away because his example that he wanted to use in order to try to, influence why a lot of people are so entitled, or to debate the point about being entitled. It fell flat. That's the reality, bro. And I think that when it comes back down to it, a lot of people are leaning on, or when you give too many handouts, what happens is people start to feel like it's an entitlement.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
And he was blessed. I'm going to be honest with you. He's incredibly blessed to even be a part of this country. And for him to sit here and demand, in my personal opinion, for the federal government to give things away for free when he's been blessed the way that he's been blessed, and to have the sentiment that he has is, in my opinion, it's egregious. It's very much egregious. He's very much, listen, those type of people should truly be the ones that are the most humble. They should be the most humble. Because, and this is what happens when you don't force people to get it out the mud, when you don't force people to be 100% accountable for what it is, because then they start to move as though they deserved it. That's like that's one of the reasons why we get mad at black women today, because they move around and they say, I deserve a good man. When did you start deserving it? Because everything has been handed to you and given to you your entire life. Now, all of a sudden you deserve something just because you? No, you don't. No, you don't. You eat what you kill. If we went back to a system where you eat what you kill, a lot of these motherfuckers would be out, but they would be better men for it. They would be better men for it, because then they wouldn't have this entitlement spirit, and you would be able to separate the real from the fake. But now we've civilized society so much to where you can't tell who's the man and who's not, because everybody believes that they got it, or they got it out the mud or something like that, when in reality they was handed everything.
Yep.
It was handed everything. He don't even listen. I'm not faulting him for taking advantage of what's going on with the student loan thing and being able to get his $300,000 bill taken care of. The regular citizens are going to have to pay for it. But the flip side of that argument, the flip side of what's happening right now is that now we living in a society where he feel like he deserves that, instead of feeling like he's been blessed with an opportunity that other people may not have had. And it's unfortunate. It's genuinely unfortunate.
Yeah, but you got it. So you see that creates a quality deterioration, because if you're telling everyone they just deserve to be able to go to school, right, regardless of whether you got in by merit or not, because I've seen people go into community college to take remedial classes that they should have been mastered in middle school. Like these, I swear to God, bro, they have classes in community college, right, to basically teach you how to read and write. So if you're at the college level and they're teaching you basic grammar so you can be able to do English 101, like, who's paying for this?
We are.
You
Our
understand what I'm
children.
saying? So
Our children.
yeah. So now, but if you deserve to have all these things, right? How is the supply going to meet the demand? Because the government can say people deserve to have anything, but they can't magically create more supply of the thing that they're telling
this is why they say, and this is why but listen, as long as you can continue to magically take from people that's actually producing to pay for the people that don't, this is what you'll have.
87,000 agents, baby.
This is what you'll have. Look, Rita was in my room. This is Rita right here.
87,000 agents over 10 years, though. It's not 87,000 agents.
Rita will sit there and tell y'all that shit. Rita will sit there and tell y'all. Rita will sit there and tell y'all. I'm not going to put her old photo out, but Rita will sit there and tell y'all that she wasn't on my jock back in high school. Then why is she in my bedroom? Why is she sitting in my place having a good time and having a good chat? Okay, all right.
Anton, how many passports do you have?
One.
You're gonna fight it out here? You're gonna fight it out in the States?
Yeah, man, I love this country. Hey, you want to see my waves? This is my. Ooh, look at the waves. look at the waves on that motherfucker. Getting seasick yet? Look at me posing. Look at the waves on that motherfucker. Getting seasick yet?
That's funny, man.
I am the man. I've been the man my whole life.
I wish you luck, bro. And you too, my friend. I don't know your name with the dreads.
Al.
Yeah, I wish both of you guys a great day. I'm gonna head back to work. But yeah, man, free stuff is not free. Yeah, so much
Nothing
love.
is free, bro. Somebody got to pay for it. Somebody's always gonna have to pay for it, bro.
All right.
It sounds good.
Final thoughts,
it
Al.
Always sounds great. It sounds great. You know what I mean? It always sounds good until you look at the ramifications that are really going to ensue.
Yeah.
Because how are you going to create supply to meet the demand? If everyone deserves to go to college, magically make more colleges to meet the demand. You can't. So what are you going to do? Ration? make a lottery system. Somehow, some way, you're going to have to figure out how to get that supply to increase, or you're going to have to create a ration.
Look at my dang, I gotta cover her face though. Look at how I dress.
Why you think right?
I'm gonna cover her face.
Long waiting list, right? Hold on, Anton. They got long.
I'm gonna cover her face. Look how I dressed. I'm covering her face. But you see the polo shirt with the pullover? You see the pullover with the khakis? I dressed beautifully, bro. I was the man.
Yeah, but that's subjective, bro. You understand what I'm saying?
No,
like,
it's not subjective. I've been fresh my whole life. That's not subjective. I've been fresh my whole life.
But I don't really care about clothes, bro. Like, you're talking to somebody that cares more about assets than you know, like.
I want them both. I want them both. You know what's so funny? I'm going through this, and I actually see one of my dead homies in one of these pictures. Shout out to my dog Maris. It's tripped out. Haven't looked at these pictures in years. My dog Maris is dead. So many people dead and gone. Well, listen, I appreciate you, my friend.
No doubt, man.
Thank you, bro.
I'll head back to what I was doing before as well, man. All right,
thank you, my friend.
Man. Blessed.
All right.
All right.
My dead homie Maris is in the building. You'd be surprised how many people. Dang, look at Rita. Look how young Rita was in high school. Shout out to Rita in high school. Oh, was that Rita in my bedroom? Oh, nope. Shout out to my dog Maris. This guy right here, he wound up becoming a really, really big poet and artist. This guy right here, he died. He was in the streets. So it's a tragic thing. Looking at all of this old stuff. I need to put this stuff back. Should have never even pulled this stuff out. Now I'm feeling a certain type of way. My first car, the 86 Buick Regal. We love it. It's tripped out. Anyways, shout out to all of the dudes from my hood and stuff that didn't make it. They got killed in the streets. But I decided that I didn't want to go down that path. Shout out to Maris Mitchell, my dog. Running in the Victim Olympics, man. Running in the Victim Olympics. You said they still ain't caught the dude that killed him? It was bad. It was very, very bad. But again, lots of things going on. Lots of different women that's standing up in my bedroom. Get off of my bedroom. Look, Logic, I had a headboard back there. Lots of different women that was standing up in my bedroom. Love, live, laugh, love. Listen, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to rock with me. We're going to get back to business tomorrow. We're going to get back to the money. Enough of complaining about what's going on in the Victim Olympics. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be rich by ourselves. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. And then in addition to that, make sure that you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. If you need to kick it with me personally, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.